Okay, so there we go. Yay, we are going to need to move this back a little bit. Move that back just a little bit. Yeah, I think that gives us enough room. Oh yeah. Hello, everyone. Well, nobody's here yet. Do, do, do. I'm gonna post some stuff to get some people, hopefully. That does not look right. Mm, that bugs me. All right, give me a second here. Let's see. Doo, 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 doo. Delete that. That. Hmm. Okay, so of course I live out in the boonies, which means that anyone here um, may not be seen. Let's see. I'm gonna do something real quick because YouTube is weird about stuff. So let's do this. Go here. I'll see. All right, give me a second. I have an alarm going off because it's 8:45. Normally, I'd be locking up the store, or not locking it up, but anyway, normally I'd be getting ready to close up where I work at. Tonight, obviously, I am here with y'all because they've had me work early for the past 2 days, and then tomorrow I have to be in late, which it's just a nightmare when I go switching my schedule around. Um, Probably gonna try to live stream more often, but and I gotta figure out how to do this with Twitch and everything else because I don't know these things. I'm weird and old. I don't. Anyway, let's hop over. I gotta fix that thing too at some point. But all right, let me find the Star League server. Oh look, Catalyst has done the Pride thing for their Discord. Yay! Uh, so yeah, and I'm probably horrible at doing this because like I'm not great at engaging with people. And it's not like, say, Painting live stream. Yeah, I'm just sort of like popping this up in a few places where people know who the hell I am because you know, I don't, I don't know. All right, so we did that, we did that. Oh, let's go to Blue Sky. Yeah, Blue Sky, where I can be like, hey, y'all. Now, I obviously cannot, um, painting live stream. Oh, that is not what I want to do. Delete post, delete. Oh, I apologize if y'all can hear my AC in the background. I know it's a pain in the ass, but you know, and I mean, I'm sure, like, I probably swear enough where YouTube's like, oh my God, you're horrible. But anyway, so yeah, let's go sit here and paint. And if anybody shows up, awesome sauce. If nobody shows up, well, I need to get this stuff done. And yeah, so that that's the thing. Because some of these are commissions, some of this is me just dicking around with miniatures. Um, hey, hello there. I hope my volume's working good. Hi. Oh my God. I got peoples. And I cannot find so I have this paintbrush, which by the way, if you look Fortress Miniatures and Games, I need to scroll up and see what the hell. No, I can't see it there. I have to see on the OBS. I warned y'all, I'm old. Um, if it'll focus. It's supposed to autofocus, but it won't. Anyway, that says Fortress Miniatures and Games on it. They're looking at putting out a line of brushes, which awesome sauce. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Okay, so my regular paintbrushes, there they are. My regular paintbrushes are these. Um, they're just these cheap acrylic brushes from Walmart, and I like them because I can abuse the crap out of them. And today, what I'm doing is I'm painting cockpits. Now, like some of my cockpits, like, well, let me grab some people's. All right, so some of them, like this Marauder 2. Oh, come on, focus. I'm gonna have to manually focus this thing, aren't I? Oh, that sucks. Okay. Well, let me make sure it has autofocus on. Supposedly it does. Turn off autofocus so I can. There we go. So, like, my cockpits, some of them are like this, where it's a jeweling effect. Um, this one's going to have its own short on, what's it called? On YouTube, because, yeah. And then other ones, I don't have any of them near me, do I? Oh, yes, I do. Talking about Marauder 2s. This one, it uses a Games Workshop technical paint that is reflective and you put down like a metallic underneath. So I have a client who I have done a bunch of stuff for. He sent me his Falcons from Aces, and they are done. I can't remember the name of the Jade Falcon cluster, but it is the one that come on, there you go. I got autofocus sort of working again. It's the one that fought against the Steel Vipers a bunch, and they did the legs of the mechs like in a metallic look, and then put red on them. And of course, the green for them is even metallic, which is kind of cool. Of course, the wash does not show up in under this light at all, which sucks. So, but yeah. And the worst part is it's hard for me to see exactly where I am on the screen, especially because it's doing the dual thing. So like I am sure I am all over the place. Um, oh, and of course, like it's not the there we go. But yeah, so my brain just went blank. Yeah, I was trying to make sure I was in the frame because OBS is not very clear if I'm in the frame or not. So beautiful stuff. Anyway, I did find the rest of those brushes. So what I'm gonna get, did I already grab it? That's a good brush. Here it is. Or is that one finer? No, we'll go with this one. So a little cheap Walmart brush. Um, hell, I'm surprised I don't just buy packs of like fine tip brushes by like 100 or so at like Amazon because I go through these things. Anyway, where is my technical paint? They already have red involved. I don't want to overdo the red. I obviously don't want to do a green technical. These are already clear coated, and of course, I'm starting with one with the tiniest cockpit windows. We're just going to go with the blue because why not? Unless my blue is empty, which I hope it's not. I have a different technique I can use that works in a similar manner. I'm just not as oh there we go. I just needed to shake it better. Just needed to be more violent because violence solves everything. Um, oh, and I need my glasses because I'm blind. So I wear these while I'm painting. All right, here we go. I am no longer blind. And also, I cannot express the difficulty of trying because I've thought about doing this. I've thought about doing this a lot. It's like, it'd be really fun to paint on stream and I could just hang out and chat with people, but I'm trying to make sure I keep it in frame, which I think is the hardest part of this endeavor. It's a tiny, this thing has tiny little windows. Like I don't of all the mechs, like this big part here, I believe is a hatch. I might be wrong. I'm gonna have to look back at the art. If that's a window, totally gonna do that later because that would make sense. Um, but yeah, so I've got like a few things going on. Oh, of course, I cannot see the chat if I'm wearing my glasses. That is so awesome. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, so let's go pop him off because he has the tiniest windows. I eventually have to do like the weapons barrels and stuff. And what I've been doing lately with those is like, um, you find one that looks good. Well, that sounds wrong. Find one that like where you can see more than oh. So I have another Royal Battlemaster. So and it's Hansa's fault that I have this. If anybody wants to blame anybody, Hansa's the one that made me do it. So I'm using this fluorescent paint, like that's a fluorescent pink for the large laser. And then the medium lasers are this bright fluorescent green, which is a Vallejo fluoro paint that I picked up secondhand, and then that's a light blue, then a white, a dot in the middle, and then I cover that with the speed paints that Catalyst has with not Warlord, with what the hell's the name of that company? Army Painter. So, anywho, all right. So you have a done cockpit. Ooh, challenging ones now. I keep forgetting that that's stuck to the table and it's magnetized. So let me see how I'm looking. Drives me nuts that it's hard to tell. Okay, so that is near the bottom of the frame. I'm going to adjust this tiny bit, and that should help me stay in frame a little better. All right. And this stuff here, it usually lasts me a while. I don't have to get a lot of it. Um, in fact, this Games Workshop technical paint, I would say I probably lose more of it due to age than from just using it, because it is, of course, in the classic Games Workshop paint pot, which is just an absolute nightmare. And with these big windscreens, cockpit windows, whatever you want to call them, I'll probably end up having to do two very thin coats of this because reasons. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it is the beginning of June, which, as we know, is the beginning of Pride Month. Um, I'm going to try to feature some miniatures that I have that are obviously Pride oriented later this month, and some stuff that other people have created because you know I want to make sure that people out there you know get mentioned. I also need to figure out how to make music stream with this so that there's just something in the background other than it's a beautiful shot. It's not even in frame. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still learning. Um, I almost feel like I need a marker on the table to show me where the miniature needs to be, like those digital strike zones they have in baseball now. At least I think they still have those. I don't know. But yeah. Stuff, let's see. Just thinking of random things to talk about while I'm here. Stuff that I plan on doing this month. Um, 5 minute next, I'm going to get back on that. I have my biggest bottleneck for that is actually taking my really horrible handwritten notes and turning them into something I can actually read, you know, like in general. Um, Also, I'm going to review a few Ironwind Metals miniatures. That Marauder 2 that I showed y'all earlier is one of them. After that, there is, oh goodness, there's the Marauder 2, I have them all sitting over there. Was there Crusader one of them? It might have been one of them. Oh, the Mad Cat A, which I don't know if any of you have seen the Mad Coda yet. Had it. There it is. So it's this right here. Go back to OBS where I can see what the hell I'm doing. Oh, okay, that's a much better position for the camera. Good. Good, I can see that in the stream. Yeah, so the Mad Cat 2, this is Iron Moon Metals. As you can see, I have video of it already because I put a wash and then I washed a lot of it off with alcohol and Q-tips so you can see more of the detail. Trying to think, there was something else. I think the Crusader was one of them, which is right now it's at this phase. It'll be getting the new the Unicorn Company black with pink, white, and blue camo treatment. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is a freebie at the Richmond Open. And there you can see that green fluorescent I'm talking about with the small lasers and stuff. And it was also on the Marauder. And then a couple that I'm not reviewing, but I just have because these give me warm and fuzzy feelings. Um, this is called the Black Angel. It is from uh, Lords of the Battlefield. They have a Black Angel 1 and Black Angel 2. This was something they did years and years and years ago. God, I was in my 20s. And they had them at the Ironwood Metals booth because the guys who run the Ironwood Metals booth, or at least this is their last year doing it, they also, Chuck and Varney, they also are the ones who are really big in Lords of the Battlefield. And then this is called the Ranger. Same thing. It was an in-house design it was for the Lords of the Battlefield technical readout, which by now is obviously very niche and is older than uh, a lot of people that I know as kids. So yeah, um, it's a whole getting old thing and like being reminded of it. So they have limited numbers of those left, and it's a weird bit of BattleTech like fan lore and fan history, and I didn't want to let it I did not want that to disappear, and I could never have one. Um, on him you can actually see well, let me finish his cockpit. Um, but yeah, it's a bit of like fan history, I guess you could say. Yeah, this is also one I'm gonna have to. Well, it might even out. So these paints from Games Workshop, they're really nice if you want to, for a lack of better words, cheat on doing your cockpit. Because first of all, you can put the metallic down, and you can matte coat over it. And then after you've matte coated over it, when you put this down, because it is a gloss itself, it will unmatte what's underneath it. And it gives you these beautiful reflections that you literally can't simulate with jeweling or anything like that. I just wish there were more of them, you know? Like they have three colors. They have green, red, and blue, and they're the most basic versions of green, red, and blue that you will ever see. So yeah, I'm gonna cheat on this one. I'm putting down a nice thick coat because I have guardrails on this. I'm not just an open cockpit that's sticking out everywhere. That'll actually help it because it dries much thinner. So essentially, I'm just infilling the boundaries of the cockpit, and what it'll do is it'll dry with a very nice, smooth, glossy finish. And then I've got a crap ton of lasers to do on it, you know. But I don't know, it depends. So, like, anyway, yeah, I'm shoot, I am a weird girl, and I'm having an evening, having a time. But yeah, you can see on this better than the other one. So part of the problem is even with a matte coat, this is still like a high gloss green metallic paint, and it does not want to play nice with matte coats, or not matte. Well, yeah, with matte coats, it still wants to be shiny. Which, okay, cool, that works. But like, pop him off of there. Okay, like if we take a look at that one, no, these do not have a matte coat on them yet. Or yeah, these just have a gloss coat. Um, shoot, I don't know. And then of course these ones here, 21st Century Lancers. I'm doing the regiment that nobody does, um, because all the ones that like from the box art and all that are it's tan, like an OD green, a deep burgundy-ish red, and then the one that everybody does, it has yellow highlights, which first of all are a pain in the ass. Second of all, I don't want to do what everybody does. And then another regiment of them, or battalion of them, I can't remember, has bright red highlights, which just seem to blend into the dark reds. So then I found one of them has blue, and these are very hard to do. They are, oh my god! But these ones actually, they were washed and then they were rewashed. I don't know how to put it. Um, or no, they were washed and then I did a dry brush and then I did all the other colors and I still have to go back and do a black wash on the metallics. So yeah, but I do paint like these ones. The bases are painted this gray, almost concrete color. In fact, it's actually an apple barrel paint called Pavement. So I got to get this all set up to where it's not as funky because y'all are watching an angle. I don't know how to do this stuff yet. I can use that excuse for like a couple more streams, right? All right. Speaking of things that need to have things done to them, come here, Mr. Marauder. As we got the Marauder 2C. Okay, so actually, here's one that has been matte coated because I want to do a thing, right? Because my autism and ADHD send me, oh, there is that, send me all over the place as far as like how I do things and the order in which I do them. And I always feel like if I don't have two or three projects going on at once, I'm not actually able to get things done. It's weird. I can't explain it, but yeah. All right, so yeah, here's the Ostsoul, or no, Ostwar, sorry. This one is matte coated with that same matte coat as what I'm using on these. In fact, these two were sprayed at the same time on a squad sprayer, and you can totally see that this one's matte coat does nothing to matte this metallic finish. It's this green paint, which is a Turbo Dork paint. It's not that Turbo Dork paint. It's around here somewhere. Um, that is like it has that weird pointy it has a weird pointy lid, and there it is. It's called Turbo Dork Gordian Knot. This stuff is magical. It doesn't color shift. It just does really beautiful this beautiful shade of green, and I absolutely love it for it. So yeah, and pop the Marauder. Got Marauder 2. Yay, Marauder 2. Um, or Marauder 2C, sorry. The Marauder 2 is a much more respectable inner sphere machine than the Clan's Marauder 2C, which should be shunned by everyone. I mean, unless you are a spheroid who can capture one and then totally use it because it has a unicorn horn. That's one of my primary drivers behind mechs that I'm putting in Unicorn Company recently is that looks like it has a unicorn horn. All right, Marauder, quick and easy. Missile Bane, same deal, quick and easy. And yeah, so I mean, if anyone wants to talk about anything or anything like that, you know, feel free. I keep looking over at the comments, and if anybody has questions or wants to talk about anything at all, I'm totally up for it. And of course, I might sound like shit because the YouTube thing keeps screaming at me about bit rates and everything else, but I'm on satellite. So so yeah, I think it's satellite. No, 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 no. I actually have real internet now, but it's still real internet that's like in a place where there are more sheep or not sheep. I guess I'm in a place where people think land votes. Let's put it that way. I think that's the best way to put it. Where I live, people think land votes. Actually, I'm rolling through these pretty quick. Um, Little tiny howler. I did not expect to be going through these as quick. Like usually, I have to sit here and struggle, and I don't know. Maybe it's the pressure of the possibility of people watching me, and I'm like, oh my god, if I screw this up, they're all gonna hate me. I mean, I know y'all won't, but you know what I mean. Just one of those things. Like I said, I do have to figure out how to put some kind of background music on here and how, like, I don't understand how people, like, streamers do that. I mean, I know they do, I just don't know how. And this is something that, oh, I picked up that. We don't use a good brush for that. No, 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 no. Then again, though, I have sort of been torture testing, torture testing these things, and this is holding a pretty good point considering all that I've put it through. Um, I thought that felt too nice of a brush. Now I just want to reach for the ones that um, I've been checking out here, and it's like crap. I like them too much now. This stream will never be monetized. I swear too much. Anyway, if you are listening and you do want to throw me some money, patreon.com/unicorn company. I don't remember what my lowest price tier is, but you know, it. Admittedly, I'm not the best with Patreon. I don't know how a lot of people do it. Like I have my job plus I have everything else, and I'll see creators who are able to like all sorts of stuff for Patreon. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, do you just not have the tisms or the ADHD or both of them at the same time? Because the crazy part is, I could end up sitting here and streaming probably for hours on end just painting miniatures, skipping meals, not realizing it, until somebody says, "Hey, you skipped food." And then I'd have to like be, "Oh crap, I need to eat something." Then again, though, at the same time, that also makes my blood sugar stay lower. So, it's a little bit of a win. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah. Oh, and I also hope they don't stick commercials on this damn thing. I do not want people having commercials in the middle of the stream. That's just the dumbest thing I've seen yet. Like what the hell? I mean, I sort of get it on videos. I'm still not the biggest fan of it on videos, but during a live stream, guys, like people are not here to have ads run over when they're watching somebody, especially if you're watching someone talk about something or something like that. Nobody wants that to happen. Nobody wants to like, especially the person running it, because if they are running ads, I have no idea, right? I am at the whims of the YouTube gods, as it were. So if they run an ad or something like that, I don't get a memo. I just get, hey, somebody tells me afterward there was an ad or something in the middle of your thing, and I'm like, okay, wasn't my plan, and I have no say in it, which totally fucking sucks. So anyway, like I said, I swear a lot. I apologize. I don't swear like this in the videos. It has nothing to do with monetization. It's just I'm not good at freehanding the I don't know how to say it, guys. I'm not good at scripting the vulgarity. We'll just put it that way. And also, I don't want to like piss off anybody. I don't, I mean, I'm sure I probably piss people off, and certain people, I'm pretty sure I piss off just by existing and doing what I do. And to those people, I just say go eject under an overpass. Um, yeah, see what the structural integrity of an overpass is when you eject from under it, because I don't, you know, I don't do this because I'm hateful or spiteful or ah, anything like that. I don't do this to be like, to show up God knows which pissed off YouTuber next. I just do this because I enjoy doing it and I want to engage with people. So, yeah, I can see things. Oh, cool beans. So, yeah, like, okay, let me think. Rifleman. All right, so glasses back on. Open this back up because I'm not done. I have so many miniatures I gotta do cockpits on right now. Um, some more pressingly than others. I have 3 commissions sitting here, 2 projects to distract myself during said commissions so that I don't get so bored with painting that I just stop painting because, yeah. Um, Like between real life just being real life and making it hard to set aside time to do the things I enjoy doing, like painting. Um, and then all the crap going on right now that's just got me in a depressive funk, which has not helped me put out videos. And if I'm saying too much, let me know. I'm just sort of here doing my thing with my painting and rambling because yeah, I said I'd be doing like talking about political stuff. So yeah, this is where you're going to be able to talk to me about like real world stuff. You can ask me about BattleTech stuff. I've been um like my script writing for the 5 minute mechs. I recently finished the Griffin, which was actually quite interesting to do. I've these early ones, you will notice you like I can see a progress in the way that I'm doing the 5 minute mechs. So I still talk about the technical side of things, but I also have gotten better about telling a short. This is the story of insert mech here. Um, because I know not everybody's a weirdo like me that just likes to see all the technical sides of crap. So pop him off of there. Okay, so I think that is that all the close this that to the side. Rifleman, Marauder 2C, Howler, Locust 2C, Thunderbolt C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, yeah, that's all of them. Um, and of course, there's the two vehicles, which I'm going to ask my client how he wants these painted because either these two bubbles could be cockpits or that thin slit right there could be a driver's window. And then there's two of these, which are hover. I want to say they're Maxims, but because of the way that, because of the art for them on their Alpha Strike card, they use the artwork for this vehicle. So we just went with two of these. Um, you know, and then the way that this works, like this right here, is you can see the process involved here. Like the wash is put down in there, and then I gloss coat it, wash. And then I use it's almost the same as doing an oil wash. Which, by the way, I've had the most horrible time doing oil washes. um, I'm not a big fan of them. I've tried doing them. Like this was an oil wash, and I think it came out okay-ish. I'm not a big fan. I don't like the results, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's no biggie. And I haven't seen any activity in chat, but hey, cool beans. I don't, like I said, I don't know how to do all this fancy stuff. I'm just a simple girl in a simple place painting some miniatures. I'd probably be better at doing like an ASMR blah, 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 miniature painting where I just had some music on and I had my mic muted. I just sit here and paint stuff. I guess that's ASMR, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a cool kid. Anyway, this is another one I'm working on. I have to use this one because metal miniature. Oh yeah, this is another one I was reviewing. I forgot the Vulture C. You can see the posability because of the Urban Mech bit in there. And for this one, I couldn't paint the Urban Mech bit with any other paint colors because it is speed paint, and is the speed paint is horrible. I mean, okay, so it's not horrible. Army Painter's speed paint has some issues. We'll just say it that way. Um, and the issue that I have with it, I can show you on. I gotta figure out a way to fix this. Yeah, I can show you on him. It runs. It reactivates. Not only does it reactivate under normal circumstances, once again, I'm not a big fan of the way this looks. This is an oil wash. Yeah, it runs. Like it ran all the way from the flag. And this was all dry, all the way from the flag down the little part where the banner, the flag hooks up, and then into here. And I got to figure, probably gonna use some black to fix that and give it a little more definition. But yeah, so like it has a tendency to reactivate. So I did the leg in that. And of course, the contrast for this is horrible. It is the BattleTech, the it's these, which, from what I understand, are the 1.0s. So the BattleTech Speed Paint, the first set, uses the 1.0s. I don't know if they updated it to the 2.0s, but I use it as sparingly as possible, like the 3D printed. Oh, I can't remember the name of that mech. The one that's down there. It's that one down there underneath the Marauder. That is the same speed paint, except I did the. I don't like calling it slap chop, and I try to make it look like it has some battle damage. Um, that's the same thing, and like even though I clear coated this thing, I use a. Well, actually, I got to fix it. You can see right there, it bled into the snow effect because I guess I missed under there, so I gotta fix that, which shouldn't be a problem. I have ways of fixing this. I mean, or I could leave it there. It's kind of, I don't know, rusty looking, but I don't like that. But yeah, so this stuff has it because it has a tendency to bleed, and it has a tendency to run and do things I don't like. So this one, it was used very sparingly. It's just on that. I'm doing this one for the bounty hunt on the Mech Painters Union. This is Pincer Keshik from the Burrocks, which whoever came up with this paint scheme, I have a feeling is a Steelers fan or a Pirates or Penguins fan. Then again, considering that there is a group called the Steel City Mech Warriors that has been long associated with BattleTech, that wouldn't shock me. Um, Also, it's a metal miniature, so I have the paint on there. I did a clear coat. I'm going to do the wash. The cockpit windows I still have to do, but and the contrast on this doesn't come through really well. But like this, this right here is a white primer with about 3 coats of this. This stuff right here is awesome. I absolutely love it. I have used the same bottle of ink for, oh God, probably well over 3 years now. And this was like a clearance bottle of it. I think it was from Michael's or something like that. So yeah. So we're gonna do some touch up on this guy. And I ramble and I apologize. But it is in my nature to ramble. Oh, need the glasses on again. Crap, where did I set my glasses? They're there. I eventually need to go to an optometrist and get my eyeballs looked at again. So the metallic I'm using is P3 cold steel. I find it works pretty well. And Yeah, this is a metal uh, vulture. The miniature is really nice, easy to put together. There, of course, with it being a metal miniature, you do have some flash and stuff you have to get rid of, and it's on a sprue. And I know there are some people out there that totally swear off metal miniatures, and I'll have to try the Vallejo Express. I mean, then again, though, I've also sort of been very anti-Vallejo lately because a um, they had some labor issues last year or the year before. It all sort of runs together now. But they had some labor issues because of work conditions at their factory. So I sort of stayed away from Vallejo for a while. In fact, everything Vallejo that I do have at this point, I either bought they before the union there went on strike, or I've bought secondhand at like Southern Assault, where Bobby has his giant like yard sale from Fortress Miniatures and Games, and yeah, and you can usually get stuff pretty cheap. And of course, Bobby's pretty awesome, so I'll give him my money and not Vallejo. Do, do, do. But yeah, so I don't think plastic is better. Um, I want to. Oh, I know I've mentioned the. All right, let me see if I have everybody I need for this with me. I'm not going out to the studio, so I'm in my house, by the way. I'm not in my studio. Okay, so the plastic ones are nice. I'm not gonna knock them. They're good. They're good miniatures. But is he in here? Yes. Okay. Oh, you're metal. I don't have a normal plastic Battle Master on me. Um, or yeah, I don't have the normal plastic one. I do have the premium Battle Master, which I thought I had. Let me check one more spot. Um, does not look like it. Crap. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna do this with what I got going on here. So, okay, for example, you know what? I got the perfect example here. That's metal. That's plastic. All right. So first of all, a lot of people say, well, the Iron One metals ones are out of scale. And this right here, these are absolutely totally in scale with each other. Um, Probably gonna need. Let me move him out of the way. Move them over a little bit because I think that's where my yeah. YouTube's weird. Like seeing where things are centered is just awkward. All right. So they both look good. Um, the metal one, though, like if you look at them from the front, the metal one I can pose in this really awesome position. The plastic one, I have to start cutting and chopping and making things look right to do this. And quite frankly, the metal one just wins out for me. I feel like it's a superior level of quality. Yeah, you have to deal with a little bit more in making them. So let me ask you this: why is it the weight that's an issue? Is it just like carrying all of them around, or is it? Oh God, my poor brain is totally ceasing to function. I just bumped the camera. Is it the carrying them around type thing, or is it the like the tipping over thing on weird terrain? Because I do a lot of Alpha Strike, so okay. So one of the things that I will recommend, um, if it's just weight in general, like just using them individually in weight, then this really isn't a workaround. But if it's a matter of transporting them and just having like this heavy, I don't know what to call it, like brick of miniatures, then what I would say is that I would use them as a like a hero miniature. Um, so the paint coming off, that I can understand. The tipping over, I mean, part of it is like they sell metal. Oh, by the way, if you need catalyst style bases, mind you, they're going to be a bit pricey. Ironwind Metals makes them. The tipping over, I haven't had as much of an issue with, but a lot of that has to do with, like, for example, having a really heavy base. Like I worry more about like this Battlemaster here with the plastic base tipping over than I would with the Marauder or something like that. Um, but yeah, I would use them for like hero miniatures, commander miniatures, stuff like that. Like, you know, something that you can pose in a way that's going to be unique and and mind you, you might not care about that, and I get that. Especially like if you get to large scale Alpha Strike, then yeah, it's whatever. But no, I do like them, and mind you, I also have been playing since I was BattleTech for 32 years now. God, I'm old. But yeah, like this is the metal Atlas 2, and it has a different variant, which that's also something nice about them. If you have the plastic one, you can pick up a metal one. It has a different variant, and usually they'll make multiple variants. Like I've been saying for a while, um, Catalyst just needs to ditch the whole premium miniature thing they have going with Monster Fight Club. Use Ironwind Metals, and I mean, hell, like I've sat around one day, I got bored and I looked into it, and it is it is not that expensive. It is not that expensive to do COcast, like from the ground up. And the reason I don't like the premiums, like this is the premium Battlemaster. First of all, it's got shoulders from like it's got chonky shoulders. But also, in order to make it work, they put a bridge that runs between the head and the missile launcher. So it's like, guys, what are you doing? Um, I've come to the conclusion that the contract for the miniatures from Monster Fight Club is essentially a torso, legs, hip, and two sets of arms. And for ones that they don't have a ready to go variant, all they've been doing is making flipping the arms. So like when this came out, people were like, "Oh my God, you can make the Royal Battlemaster." No, you can't. you have to chop off this, you have to put a large laser there, you have to sand off those or chop off those, and you do get the second PPC gun. I do think that you can make the one, I think you can make the Hellslinger, which I heard about that. Oh my God, I heard about the Atlas. Um, I wish I could get my hands on one. So I have a Russian Highlander and a Russian Marauder. I'm really worried about doing a video about the Highlander because I decided to make it look like a beat up old Russian vehicle, and it could be offensive. So it might get some rebranding done to it. Um, Also, my Russian Marauder video is actually banned in Russia because I played the Ukrainian national anthem at the end. Shoot, what was I thinking of? I have, I'm gonna grab them real quick. Just show you these. I want to do a video about them. I just haven't got a chance. Oh, I mean, I have a chance. I just haven't. You'll see. Where the hell are they? There they are. So, one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that Catalyst Game Labs has actually flirted with using, um, ow, that's my finger. Catalyst Game Labs, or I shouldn't say Catalyst, um, BattleTech in general. Because I think it was under, not CGL, it was under, oh God, I forget was it FanPro? Yeah, FanPro. They released a box set which included a premium Battlemaster, Project Phoenix Battlemaster, which it's okay. I have one. I don't have it with me. But it also included with that two premium clan mechs because it came with the generation before what we have now. And mind you, these are not the best. There's some weird details on them, but these are hard plastic miniatures for BattleTech. These are the only two hard plastic miniatures for BattleTech: a Thor and Loki, and they are freaking awesome. I want to do a video about them. Like, let me bring this up to the screen. You can see kind of detail we're talking about here. Actually, let me grab. Where's the? There you are. That way I can just turn it without my fingers in the way. Okay, so we'll turn it this way. You'll see on the back of the legs it gets a little weird with the details that came with it. I don't know why they did it that way. Like those were glue on. And mind you, for when these came out, these are actually pretty good. Grab his buddy. And I intend on painting them. I want to talk about them first before I put paint on them, or at least get some B-roll. And yeah, this was, oh God, I'm trying to remember which edition of the box set they counted it as. Um, but these came with the one that had the really wonky miniatures that were based on the One Piece miniatures. Um, that had the really truncated bases that they did in plastic. And of course, Iron Wind went and did them in metal. Um, that was a mistake. I love Iron Wind. I've known some people there for a while. God, that was such a mistake. And of course, like they when they actually did this, they scaled them larger than their new counterparts. Like like get a load of this. Like this is what we could have had at one point. Had had BattleTech taken a certain course, you know? I don't think I have a Loki sitting around to compare it to, but I have a Loki Mark II. Give me your Loki Mark II, which I think is based off the Mech Warrior 4 Loki. But yeah, to give you an idea of the scale that BattleTech probably would have went to, would have been like right now I like to say it's about a 7.5 to 8 mil scale. This would have been a full on eight. I don't think it would have been 10 mil, but they would have been getting there. And these are pretty hard to find. Like I can find the old um, the old box set and Alpha Strike. Uh, they didn't call them Force Packs; they called them Lance Packs. The Alpha Strike Lance Pack mechs, I can find those really easy. Um, these are hard to find. The Battle Master, which I have one of those, it is not hard plastic. It's like a vinyl. Like I think they were basically putting their toes in the water to see what they could do. Like what we have now is a type of vinyl, um, but it's not nearly as bad as the third edition vinyls. Like the material itself has some issues, but it's not like dealing with the third ed vinyls, which were just god awful horrible. Now I'm ranting about miniatures, right? Like the hell, totally unqualified rant about miniatures. And then, oh, like here's another example. This is so some of the metal miniatures I have are because of the rarity or the oddity of them. Like this is a Valkyrie that let me grab this Valkyrie. This Valkyrie predates this Valkyrie. Um, they had put out, yeah, these. Oh, by the way, these are they need to be matte coated, but these are ghost dogs. Decided to do a little project. Um, and everything's a little bit bulkier, a little bit more. I don't know how to put it. This was essentially, I want to say, taken from some 3D renders that were done early on. So this is almost a pre what the Valkyrie in plastic would have looked like, and then this is what the Valkyrie in plastic looked like. And as you can see, like there are definitely changes a little bit in the way the legs are shaped. Um, got some Logan hair on there because his hair floats all over my house. You know, and you can also see some similarities, but ultimately, you know, this is what we ended up with in plastic. This thing is only sold like the only way you can get this is like every now and then. It's really weird. This one I got at Richmond Open, obviously. That's a nice shot right there. Got this one at Richmond Open. It's you know it, it's a cool looking miniature, but it's an odd miniature. It's not something that you're going to see in a lot of people's forces. I had to have it. So I apologize if I'm rambling. I'm just I play both. So Alpha Strike I play more often now. And I feel like that's for a few reasons. I used to be, mind you, I've been playing, like I said, 32 years. So I used to be a really big into classic. And I love classic Battletech. It's where everything sort of comes from, right? But Alpha Strike lets me play a game in less than a whole afternoon. It, it's one of those things where I can put down. Oh, and also, excuse me. So if I'm playing like a tournament-sized game, like 400, not even 400 points, 375 points, I'm usually playing like a mixed, not a company or anything like that. Give me 500 points with a minimum of a company of units, then I love it. I have done, and mind you, I can get company on company action done in under, you know, in a couple hours at most, usually. And it's because at a certain point in Alpha Strike, if you're playing at that large of a scale, you use lance movement, so it's not I move this, you move that. It's a little bit more, I don't know how to put it. Um, the battlefield's a little bit more fluid in some ways and less in others. But if you're using lance movement and you have lance abilities, and you pretty much know after about an hour and a half to 2 hours, like the term I think is called a combat loss grouping. And, you know, so the fatal, one thing you may want to go ahead and do is, and you are in a position that I've been in before, and I hate it when I'm in that position. They're putting out a new box set and a new starting box. The new box set and the new starter box both have some awesome things in them. Also, the game is getting a rules refresh. What I would do in your position, I would probably get the new rulebook, which should be out in August, according to Catalyst, last time I heard. So, you can skip the new box sets. You can just get the new rulebook. The new rulebook should be out in August. I say should like that because I'm from the days when, product launch dates were sort of a suggestion for Catalyst. Well, not for Catalyst, FanPro, and then Catalyst, sort of. Like, Cat- product launch dates have always been a thing. Um, if you do want to get the rulebook or the boxes, Fortress Miniatures and Games has them on pre-order. That's my sponsor. I'm not gonna say like, this company I don't know. No, Fortress has them on pre-order. They're my sponsor. Good people. Um, Let me see if I can find me log out. That way it doesn't. Okay. Da, 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 da. Or there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna drop a link in here. This should. Um, where are you in Maryland? There are a lot of people that play in Maryland. Um, Up near Baltimore, there is a group that plays up there. Um, there are some groups I want to say near Frederick, Maryland. There is, oh God, who else am I thinking of? Frederick, Maryland, up near Baltimore. In fact, I'm going to be next month at the Battle of the Bay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. Look up when you get a chance. Oh God, I just forgot the name of it. Maryland BattleTech League or Brigade League. I have stickers on my thing. Hold up. Where the hell is my thing? Yeah, the Maryland BattleTech Brigade. You are right in their stomping grounds. Check them out. Good people. Um, they're gonna be doing Battle for the Bay in July. Maryland Battletech Brigade. Let me see if I can grab a link for you for their Facebook. I don't remember if it. I don't remember if it. What's it called? I should be a member. Yes. Share. Copy link. Yep. Yep. Maryland. Boom. That is the Maryland Battletech Brigade. Don't think they ask you anything when you join. If they do, I let them know. You heard about them uh, through here. They'll know exactly who you're talking about. And they have. Let me hop. They also have a Discord, which I don't even remember how I got access to the Discord. Like I think I had to ask someone, or it might be on their Facebook. I can't remember. Let's see. I don't know if they're still. All right. Special rules. Yeah. Okay, I'm actually reading a thing. Hold up. I'll have to find it. If you join our Unicorn Company Facebook group or even Maryland BattleTech Brigade, I can get back to you on it. Um, awesome. Yeah, you might have to search around in there. Games and stuff. Oh God. So okay, so I'm in Virginia. I occupy a place in Virginia where everything is 2 hours from me. So like I've been to these places, but I don't like remember all the time if they have certain things. So yeah, like I would talk to some of the people there. They're all really awesome. Let them know, hey, here's where I am. I'm looking to get some games in. I think they have the stuff for their Discord on there, and you can find out when they're all playing, and probably be able to set something up for casual games. I know at Battle of the Bay they're doing it as a two-day event this year, which means that um, day one is a tournament. Day two is hang out and play. Um, just play games in general, have some fun, meet people, throw some dice. You are very welcome. I have always been someone who wants to expand the BattleTech community. Um, see, oh, this is see, like right there, you got like awesome. All right, so yeah, this you can't see the shadow or anything with the yellow. The light just washes it all out. It's horrible. But there is definition. It's just the webcam is not nice to it. Oh my God, where did I put? Oh, there you are. Nope, not you. You. Oh, cool. I do know. See, like you're way out of the way from where I end up in Maryland usually. Um, There's like a place that I go to called Sword and Spoons. They're near Pax Naval Air Station, and I don't get there too often, unfortunately. I want to get there more often than I've been able to. But they have a BattleTech group that meets there, and the owner, she's awesome. And me doing what I'm doing right now might be a total mistake, but we'll find out, won't we? And that's the beauty about paint that is technically, if you really screw up, you can cover it back up. I mean, you know? Also, this bright of a metal, like it's not technically a gunmetal color, it's more of a, I don't know, just steel? At least I think that's what they were going for with it. Um, it needs some toning down anyway. Dropping hex bases on the floor. Right. Do. Dual Gauss rifle. Vulture. I mean, I still prefer the dual Gauss rifle Jägermech, but you can't argue with two Gauss rifles. Usually that ends up hurting a lot. So, but yeah, if you make it up to Battle of the Bay, I'm sure that they would be happy to have you there. Um, I go to like I have a few events I try to go to every year. Some of them I'm not as religious about it as others. Um, Southern Assault I try to make sure I'm at every year. I have been to every Southern Assault so far. This year is the first year that I will not be competing in the Alpha Strike tournament. I've offered to help with logistics as far as like running things or judging or stuff like that. Um, because with Southern Assault becoming a convention in its own right, I feel like um, it's sort of it's going to need help growing. So you know, I have no problem with helping that to grow. And also, the Alpha Strike competitive scene's just gotten too. I think I've mentioned it before, but it's gotten way too competitive. Like, and I think what it is people keep figuring out weird little things, which cool beans, I get it. But at the same time, it's like I play Alpha Strike to have fun. I classic I'm of a mixed opinion on competitive. I've done two competitive classic events, and one of them I enjoyed the hell out of, and I lost big. The other one, I I told all my opponents, "Hi, I'm here to blow things up." I know I've played three classic tournaments. Sorry, and two of them I've told people I'm here to blow things up. I'm not here to win the tournament. I'm just here to sit down and have some games of BattleTech, which are just impossible for me where I live because I live in the middle of nowhere, and you know, it's not like I'm going to sit there and let them beat the ever living crap out of me. But at the same time, um, I don't think I've been to Game Castle yet. I might have. I don't remember. And of course, with my job, having like consistent days off is also just a pain in the ass. Like most people can be like, okay, I'm going to hang out with my friends on whatever day. With me, it's like if I just want to like hang out with anybody, I have to request days off. Like somebody, but hey, do you want to go and see a show next week or in a couple weeks? Most of the time, my answer is I'd love to, but I don't know how competitive I would get. I feel like I just want to, like you say, and blow shit up and roll dice and a number of things. So, as far as competitive, my journey to competitive Alpha Strike was weird. like, um, so me and a friend of mine, her name's Roz, me and Roz, we had learned about a tournament in Tennessee, and we looked at the rules, and this is way in the early days of Alpha Strike. You could take anything you wanted. There was no limitation by faction or anything, which was something you could limit. Um, 600 points, which is obscenely high, and like I said, no limitations. So I took. Well, first I went and I messaged these people, and because me and Roz, we're both sitting around, and she's like, "Hey, Carrie, this thing is too easy to break." So we sat around, we math hammered or math whatever. We came up with the most broken possible list we could, which no skill limits. So we had a whole bunch of like it was like skill 1 and 0 pilots, no limit on the same chassis. So there were two Fireball XFs. Charging rules back then worked way differently, and you could repeatedly charge with a mech that could move 48 inches. Um, it was just it was horrible, like so horrible. But we did it, and I contacted them like, "Hey, your rules are broken. Like somebody can come along and just like come with the most brokenness ever. You should at least limit by faction or something, or cut your points down by like 100 or 150." And they're like, "Yeah, no, 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 we're fine. This is how we're doing it." So I was like, "All right, I'd like to sign up for your tournament." Like I had randomly found this tournament. It wasn't even like something that I was like planning on doing or anything like that. And so I ended up driving 14 hours to Tennessee for a weekend. Um, it was a 6 round tournament. My underweight, super high skilled list just beat everything. It was really bad. And then I took my prizes and I came home and they changed their format after that. I'm a troublemaker, some would say. Like for example, WolfNet. Um, the WolfNet 350 has its roots in that Tennessee tournament because WolfNet 350 they apparently watched the video about stuff and they apparently I guess heard about the way that you know this really broken list just steamrolled through an entire thing and they're like, oh my god, we cannot have that. Yeah, I mean, exactly. It was like we were just bored and we were like, okay, they give you 600 points. What the hell can you do with 600 points? And then when we finally put this thing together, we're like, we need to tell them this is going to be a problem. And they didn't want to hear it. So I was like, all right, I want to go. And my friend Roz, I told her, I'm like, do you want to come with me? And she's like, oh my God, no, that's just too far. And to be fair, it shouldn't have been. So the drive from my house at the time to Nashville, um, should have been a 10-hour drive according to Google Maps. And it took 14 fucking hours through the middle of nowhere. These back, well, they're not even back roads. It's the main road, but it's only one lane each way because it's like on the side of a freaking mountain in some places. And at first, when you cross from Bristol through Bristol into Tennessee, it's like a 6-lane highway because the racetrack's right there. The further you get into Tennessee, the thinner the road gets. So eventually I'm in like traffic jams on US, whatever the hell it is, going the length of Tennessee. So it's like an actual federal highway that's 2 lanes wide. Like in here in Virginia, that does not exist. There are no 2-lane wide federal highways. 4 lanes minimum. Um, but yeah, like so 40K, funnily enough, you mention it. I've played 40K. There was a little bit of time where I played 40K. I don't know if I like that. Nah, we'll leave it. It looks kind of burnt. Um, and it was kind of weird because I played Tau because they had mech suits. And of course, people are like, well, yeah, but Imperial Guards, you can have Sentinels. But I was like, it. This was before you had Titans and everything else was back in 5th edition. So I was like, yep, Tau it is. And Tau were horrible. I mean, that being said, I did enjoy them. It was fun. But yeah, like every time I've done good at a tournament, something happens. Like the year that I won Southern Assault, year two, my list consisted of it had some Tortoise battle armor and some Marauder battle armor on what I like to refer to as the party bus, which is a hover APC. And the Marauders can hang on the outside and the Tortoises ride inside, and then you just dump them off on objectives. And all their point costs went up because me and a bunch of other players had realized, oh my god, uh, Tortoise and Marauder battle armor are just awesome. Um, and we had all come to these conclusions separately of one another. So it was like group think, or not group think. What is it called? Convergent evolution, where a bunch of people had looked at this and went, "Oh, these are really cool." After year two, I tried to be all uber competitive in year three, and it was just like, yeah, no, this is not what I want to do anymore. Um, I want to come here and blow shit up. So ever since then, I've been a lot more lax with competitive play. The issue I've run into is that that's not how everybody else is anymore. At least the Southern Assault, which is one of the largest, no, it is the largest Alpha Strike tournament, as far as I know, on Earth. And I just couldn't, yeah. I was like, you know what? I need to get out of competitive Alpha Strike as well. Not even competitive Alpha Strike. I need to get out of competitive Southern Assault Alpha Strike for a little bit. Um, and I do understand it. There's the possibility of a rules refresh for Alpha Strike in a year or two. Um, I know that was mentioned at Origins, so I'm interested to see how that goes and how that might shake things up. I have some ideas. I actually have a script written about that. Um, I wanted to do like a state of the hobby, LGBTQ community type podcast today. Um, and that one's been hard to write. And it's not hard to write because of the lack of people like myself that are out here playing BattleTech. Like, oh my God, the amount of people I've seen playing BattleTech who are trans or just allies or anything like that, that has been going up. Like using the 5 year span of Southern Assault, year one, myself and Roz were the only trans people there. Um, Last year, there were a lot of other trans people there. There's also a lot of allies, open allies, which is just amazing. Every event that I've gone to since Southern Assault this year, because I've gone to quite a few actually, there have been trans people there, like multiple trans people, and I'm just like, holy crap. Um, I never expected to see a large number of people like myself at these events. Um, Mainly because like BattleTech wargaming in general, I always looked at as something that it's male centric, it's very, very male coded. But what I've sort of come to learn is that even with that, it's still, you know, especially with like the current authors we have, Catalyst's stance on the game is for everyone. Yeah, BattleTech, like it feels like a safe and inviting place, and I know some certain people who are going to be, well, Carrie, no, this is a thing that involves everybody, and like everybody from Brian Young and Jamie um, and Valk to like NB Kaiju and her miniatures that she paints. It's a lot more than any one person doing this. It's a thing, and when people say, "Oh my God," real life in my games, there's all sorts of people out there, and you know, I don't know why we can't be respectful to everyone and be happy when a game is growing, like you know. So yeah, my weird little take on that. Yes. Oh my God, I can't figure out how to work things. Give me a second. I'm trying to see what I'm doing. I know I'm ranting more than painting now, so I hope that's okay. But yeah, like you know, I have so much crap going on. Um, Let me see. I got that. I'm probably going to re-shiny up his Gauss rifle. So I know this is kind of unrealistic to have the whole Gauss rifle housing metallic except for the back parts, but I've always approached painting BattleTech as like pulp sci-fi. Yeah, I mean, absolutely it should. And like, I find it interesting that there are people who sit here and talk about how, oh my God, BattleTech or gaming or whatever, you shouldn't let all these people into it. And these are the people that I can tell never went to like Historicon and year over year saw a smaller and smaller group playing the same games because they believed that they were the only ones that should be playing the game, you know? Like I never understood that kind of mentality because what eventually happens is something that you like playing like this is a game I love, right? This is something that I've been doing for oh God, uh 46 minus 32. So it's well over three-quarters of my life at this point. Um it would be like if you loved sailing, but then you were like, yeah, no, nobody should learn how to sail because we can't let certain people into that hobby. And then one day you look back and you're like, why the hell is nobody sailing? And it's like, well, nobody was allowed to sail, you know? Did this paint already? Oh. Hmm. By the way, I know somebody mentioned they wanted to the fatal. I know you mentioned wanting to learn painting. One of your biggest things, like I don't use a wet palette. I use get one of these. This is one of those like you know fidget toy poppers, but they're silicone, so they clean out really easily. The other thing is this stuff right here, airbrush flow improver. Doesn't matter what company you're using. Um, Normally the paints I use are pre-thinned for airbrush, but I know hopping around, but normally the stuff I use is pre-thinned for airbrush, but stuff that isn't feels almost gunky to me no matter how, you know. So I thin that down with airbrush flow improver. I try not to go past a 1-to-1 ratio. Sometimes I do. It's especially here because I'm trying to get like, mind you, I'm not going to get like a fade effect or anything, but I'm trying to get like the upper part of this on the outside to look more like it has light hitting it. And it's easier to do if my paint is not thick as, you know, like I'm trying to paint with the sludge. Also, I know I could clean up these models better, but I'm not like, you know, I am not a pro painter. I'm just a girl that does some commissions because, I do what I call tabletop standard, which tabletop standard to me is looks pretty decent 3 feet away. Um, I don't charge an arm and a leg. In fact, I probably undercharge for what I do a lot, but it's mainly so I have shit to do, which might sound weird, but you know, okay, this ain't even the good brush. Like, but yeah. All right, so that looks pretty good. I need to pull the good brush out I'm gonna get the good china out for this next step. Um, while I'm getting ready for the next step, though, I have to grab something to drink because my throat's a little, you know. Um, so while I'm doing that, I'll let you observe these two wonderful little crabs. In fact, I'll do better than that. All right, just something interesting visual to look at. These are all of the mechs in my list for Battle of the Bay. And you will notice a theme. I'm totally sure. All right, so let me grab something to drink. You'll probably hear Logan if he wakes up because he's going to yell at me for walking around. Oh, ow, so professional. All right, let me. Hey, bub. Hey. Yep. So you taking a nap? Yeah. Yeah, you were laying right there next to me. Yeah. In your little squishmallow. Well, I did some painting. I gotta go back doing some painting, but yeah, I need to get something to drink. There's my throat. Yes. See, I'm sitting again. We're all good. I'm sitting. So, yep. And I'm also having some Ches, so my blood sugar doesn't get weird. See? Mm-hmm. But not not time yet. You can sit there. Doesn't mean I'm giving you Ches. Wonder if anybody can tell what the theme of my list is for Battle of the Bay. I want to eat my Ches. My Ches. So I'm having the Ches, and then I'm getting back to this. I really hope you cannot hear me eating Ches. All right. So, what color should I paint the cockpit? So I'm thinking on this like a simple green. Um, I hope the air conditioning isn't making too much noise. A green will do really well here. So let's see about green, right? All right, back to the paint mines. Oh, and I just hit the camera. I apologize. Did not mean to do that. All right, so we're going to use Vallejo. Now, mind you, these colors I am not really sure about. I guess one says fluo, it's fluorescent yellow. This one says fluo, it has nothing on it. It's like a fluorescent green. Let's see, it's 10:30. I am guessing I'm losing viewers to Big Red, which I don't blame you. I'm just sitting around rambling. I want to make that slightly darker to start. So I have a dark green I can throw in there a little bit. I have a dark forest green, I should say, I can throw in there a little bit. That's that's where I run into problems. Is that most of my paints are World War II uh, style paints. I have very few. That's Panzer Gray. It's different from Arms Length. Where is? Oh, here we go. Gunship Green. Oh, that is gross. I have not opened this bottle in a long time. Okay. Gunship Green is the base color. Oh yeah, that'll work. Mind you, I think it's like a Russian green, but I really don't care because I'm not using it for its Russianness, I guess we could say. And it barely has any coverage. Awesome. Upside of using airbrush paints, they're super thin. Downside of using airbrush paints, they're super thin. I need to get a pair of tweezers. I just spotted a little tiny hair on here. So this is hard because I want to hold this up against my chest. That's where it's the most stable, right? So here, let me show you real quick. I don't think you were here for this. Here's the Jade Falcons I did. This is Soulstone Blue over top of a metallic. Now, mind you, I'm doing it this way for a client because this is what he already has all his stuff done as by me. I've done a shitload of miniatures for him. But I mean, mind you, I can also make fades look really good for a cockpit. Like this is a purple to pink fade, which Unicorn Company uses right now, but normally Unicorn Company in better times just say, "Oh crap." In better times, Unicorn Company uses that same blue, uh, Soulstone blue over metallic paint. Um, there was a while when I played Tau when I did when everything was all the cockpits I did with a gold color to simulate space helmets, and people were like, "Oh, well, that's so unreal. You know, it looks so horrible." And I was like, "Why do you think it looks horrible? To me, it looks awesome. It's like what you see with an astronaut." And people just thought it looked bad, and I never understood why. And then for a while, I played War Machine, which War Machine went down its own weird death spiral that Privateer Press could never really pull it out of. Um, Part of it had to do with them going from paper cards to the app, which I guess from their perspective looked like a good idea. It would save them money. They could update the cards all the time. But in order to get full access, you had to pay for the app. And then, I think that had a lot to do with the demise of War Machine because there was a time when War Machine was on track to just totally curb stomp Warhammer 40K. And then one day they just weren't, you know? It was like, yeah, War Machine's just going to come in and totally stomp on 40K's face. And then one day it just stops. And I don't know how I got onto this, but yeah, like my Tau had that because it looked really cool. At least in my opinion, it looked really cool. Um, so like all their little cockpit thingies, their sensor pods, they were all this gold metallic, and it just looked really neat. But everybody, like the game store, they were like, "Oh my God, that's so lazy." Meanwhile, they're trying to paint eyeballs onto every damn space marine who wasn't wearing a helmet. I'm like, okay, there we go. It's like, why are your space marines all running around without helmets on like idiots? I mean, I would say you never saw that with guard players, but then when you consider they had commissars who just wore like freaking dress uniform helmets or whatever they're called, or not helmets, caps. No, it was just normal, you know. Like, yeah, no, commissars wear this crazy headgear, and they somehow don't get shot in the noggin. Space Marines run around without a helmet. And okay, so I got to admit this right now. What bothered me about Space Marines without a helmet was that oftentimes it wasn't even like attached to their belt or something. It was just missing, like they had dropped it. And I have some personal experience with, you know, having to be responsible for headgear in a military environment. I'm not going to say exactly when, where, or any of that. But if you lost shit, you were in so much trouble. And you figure, like, Space Marines, especially, where they're like supposedly the elite of the elite of the Imperium. If they lose a helmet or they lose something, I could not imagine them getting off the hook. You know, like, oh, brother Farticus, where is your helmet gone? I lost it fighting the Tyranids. Okay, well, the Imperium owns that helmet, and they own you too, soldier. You know, that's gonna come out of your whatever ration or something. They would not. There's no way, especially a military order like the Space Marines, where it's like all, herder, super masculinity. I'm making up words now. But it's like herder. This is where we're the elite of the elite. We're the best of the best. Like, can you imagine an army ranger losing his fucking gear and just like not wearing his helmet in combat? I mean, I could see. I take it back. I could see a fucking ranger. No, no, I can't see a ranger doing that. I can see a seal. But then again, though, they probably are going to a situation where they don't want the helmet on them. But none of them would lose their freaking helmet. Like it would be somewhere where they know where it is and it's accounted for. Yeah, yeah. The no helmet Space Marine always bugged me. Um, the commissars were always weird. I played Imperial Guard for a little bit too because they did have Sentinels, and Napoleonic Lasgun line was a valid tactic in fifth edition. So, so like I would play games where I had over 100 models on the table, and it was just lines like bricks of guardsmen. Like it wouldn't even be like I would play Napoleonic tactics in 40K with my guardsmen because I could line them up in these blocks and then put like Punisher tanks between them, which had this horrendous rate of fire, and some sentinels with las cannons on the tanks, and it was like, all right, cool. Your what's it called? Are charging my guardsmen, the 10-man squad at the front of the block. All right, the other five squads behind them. Oh, you killed them. Cool. The other five squads behind them are going to shoot you in the face. It was bad. It was really bad. Um, or they'd end up with units behind that they couldn't do anything with, and I would just start shooting them with the back ranks while the front ranks got destroyed. But yeah, weird rants with Carrie. One of this dry decently enough. So, Donald, have you ever been to oh God, the Air Force Museum in Ohio? One of the few things in Ohio worth going to. I apologize if I'm offending any Ohio peeps, but I've been to your state a few times, and other than the Cleveland, yeah, the baseball team in Cleveland, the Guardians, uh, I've really seen no reason to go. Oh, and the Air Force Museum and Cincinnati chili. I see no reason to be there. Like, oh my God. I know I'm gonna get some heat for that, but you know what? I'm willing to take. Okay, I do like the screen on here, like that. That I have to make it. I don't know. Okay, so here's the question: do I go for this effect, which is even more dramatic on this Highlander here, where you have the light hitting it, and then you have that, or do I do the glowy from? I'm thinking glowy from the middle. Um, that way, I don't have to justify any of the light angles on that urban mech arm. So You should go. You should go to it. It's pretty cool. If you get the chance, it's got like it is an all day frickin' place. It has a Valkyrie, which the Valkyrie is just absolutely amazing. I've gotten to touch the Valkyrie. They have the oh shit, I can't remember the name of it. The interceptor version of the SR-71 before the SR-71 became strictly reconnaissance, and they were considering making it a bomber interceptor, um, which is just an absolutely amazing aircraft. Um, and mind you, I have a thing where I really like aircraft. Um, I like to hug aircraft whenever possible. I cannot hug the ones at some of the museums, but did get to give the A-12, I think is the name of it. I did get to give the A-12 pets, so I was happy with that. I think it was called the A-12, but the whole concept was to do an intercept. The whole idea, like, was we will make this an interceptor that will run up to Russian bombers and blow them out of the sky before they can get within nuclear bombing range, right? And then, lo and behold, like it was so damn fast, and everybody was like, okay, so that whole idea of using it to intercept bombers is not a good idea. Like they had to sit down and look at it and go, okay, yeah, it's too fast for the thing we want it to do, and if they slow down, it will probably become uncontrollable and get shot down because it's so freaking big. They're like, well, you know what? It does that good whole reconnaissance thing like we hoped, so we'll just leave it at that and call it a day. Trying to make this glow conform to the shape of the cockpit, that trapezoid glass shape, which is going to be a pain in the butt. I might have to cheat. Now, up top, it's not as big of a deal. I can just sort of, you know, and now, for some stupid reason, I have the Power Rangers theme stuck in my head. Okay, we're gonna stretch you out a little bit because you are too trapezoidal now. There we go. All right, so when I say I'm gonna cheat a little bit with this. This fluoro paint is way thin. It is almost a wash. So I'm gonna take advantage of that aspect of it to get my final glowiness. Give it a glow up, if you will. Like I could have probably put this over a metallic, or I could have done a grayscale in there and then put this over it, and it would have worked perfect. Um, so I'm gonna give that a minute to dry. Mark it right there. So this will be going on the Mech Painters Union on the Bounty. Um, I highly recommend you check them out. In fact, This is a link to Mech Painters Union. Check them out. Awesome people. It's one of the things I'm involved in. Um, there we go. It's one of the things I'm involved in, and I'm really happy with it. Um, how long have we been going here? A little over 2 hours. So yeah, once I have this finished, I think I'm gonna be done for the night. At least with stream and yapping. Um, I'm probably going to see. All right, so we're gonna cheat here. We're gonna use a little bit of white. We're gonna let that dry. And then we're gonna put that green fluoro over it, and it's gonna give us a super bright middle. Um, will this look good? I don't know. But yeah, also, if any of you are painters, like in general, Mech Painters Union is very welcoming. It is a fan run painting organization with the idea of being geared more towards not just not just painting miniatures of Canon paint schemes or inspired by Canon, but also just having more of an explanation of what's going on. Like when I submit this, it'll have, here's the colors I used, here's, the techniques, blah 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 blah. Where did the set come from? What unit is it? And you know, is there any notes that I have? Like, is there something special I did? Is there? Yeah. Anyway, we're getting close to done with this. Let us put the last bits and bobs here on this cockpit. I'm going to need more green. Okay, I might have overdone it. I don't know. It looks nice from a distance. I might have to hit it a little bit more, but it has a almost creepy feel to it because it is it's like staring at you with one. It reminds me of a minion. It reminds me a little bit of a minion and a little bit of like a CRT with that bright green. Um, those old bright green CRTs from when I was a kid. See, like it looks like it's staring at you with an eye, with a glowing green eye. So I might have gone a little harsh with the maybe a light gray would have been better. I don't know though. I might touch up a little bit more. But yeah, so this is it. The Vulture, I still have a couple things to finish up. Before I go and put it online, I might touch up that cockpit a little bit more. But my voice is getting very worn out. And yeah, I think that's it for tonight. Um, Check out the channel, the other videos on the channel. Uh, Thank you. Um, yeah, check out the other videos. I'm sure there's probably something you can find in there you like. I'm gonna get 5 minute mechs going again pretty quickly. Like I said, the biggest thing there is transferring from scratched handwriting to a script I can read. Um, and thank you all for watching and just hanging out with me. I'm gonna try to do this more often. Now that I'm not as like you know bad at it. I'm sure I'll get better. Anyway, y'all have a good night. See y'all later.